bonjour, bonsoir pour les nouvelles vidéos. Allô, bonjour, bonsoir pour les nouvelles vidéos. Allô, bonjour, bonsoir pour les nouvelles vidéos. It's me, Adeline.
Daughters, today's guest is a woman whose story is a powerful reminder that survival and healing can exist in the same story. She's a mother of 4, an ESOL educator, and a social media voice who has created a space where women can have honest conversations about healing, growth, and finding their way back to themselves. As a young college student, she entered a relationship that began with promise, but eventually became marked by emotional, financial, and physical abuse. For nearly 20 years, she endured unimaginable challenges while doing everything she could to protect her family and preserve her children. What I admire most about her isn't just that she survived, but it's who she remained through it all. Despite the pain, she maintained her joy, her compassion, and her heart for others. And after everything she's been through, she found the courage to reclaim her voice and show up as herself again. Today, we are talking to the survivor daughter, the daughter who needs to know that while every situation is unique, freedom is possible. Healing is possible.
I am me.
Yeah.
When people ask me that, I am me. I get to be me. That's who I'm going to always be. And I don't want anyone to ever take that away from me. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever again.
And that is yours. Like that's what God sent you into the world with.
Exactly.
That's what you leave the world with. I think He sends you into the world with it. Whether you leave with it is really up to you. And abuse does not get the final word. Daughters, help me welcome the incredible Adeline St. Hill. All Daughters Considered begins now.
This is for the girl, golden girl, God's child. Head up, wear your crown and smile. This is for the girls all over the world. Let me hear you.
And don't forget it either. Her story, which we're gonna hear today. So, Adeline, welcome to All Daughters Considered.
Oh, thank you so much for that introduction.
Tell us a little bit about you. Let's start from your senior year.
For my senior year.
Where were you at? What were you preparing for? Paint the picture of who was Adeline, and then we'll go from there.
My senior year, I became a rebel. Okay, I started getting involved in things in school because I was that girl that had to go to school, hurry up, rush home, start cooking, start cleaning, doing everything. I could not be involved in any activities, none whatsoever. I had to hurry up and come straight home and pretty much play Cinderella, as I would say, you know. So when I got to my senior year, I remember telling my parents, hey, I don't know what you got going on, however you feel, but I'm going to go ahead and start doing the things that I want to do, things that I enjoy. I'm going to start staying after school. I'm going to start joining these clubs that I want to go ahead and get involved in. I don't like when I hear people talking about certain things, and then I feel left out of it, and I really want to be involved in these things. So my senior year, I started getting involved and putting myself in certain clubs and participating. I even played flag football.
Oh, wow.
Okay, listen, I don't know what I was doing.
It's not even about that. It's about
just
trying something different.
Yeah, I just wanted to be able to experience that. It was going to be my last year in high school. You can't get those moments back. Yeah. I wanted to make sure I go to prom, to homecoming. I wanted to experience all that, and I did everything, all regardless of how my parents felt, because you know how it is. They don't want you to go to prom because they hear the stories. People tell them, "Oh, Lord, I don't know prom when you go. The kids are doing this and this, that," and it's like, no, I just wanted to go so I can be able to get dressed up, and be able to go in and be with my friends and enjoy myself. That's what I wanted to go to prom for. So I didn't care about how my parents were going to feel about it. But you know, as time went by, they realized okay, Adeline is Adeline. Yeah, she's not backing down. If she says she's going to go ahead and go do this, she's going to go ahead and go do it. And I did just that. I enjoyed my senior year. I had to. That was my year.
I think that's personally, I agree with you. I think enjoying your senior, obviously within limits, don't do nothing crazy or stupid.
Yeah,
like,
you only get that one time.
You only get
can't
that
get
once.
back.
You can't go back and redo your senior year.
You cannot get that back, none whatsoever. That's the moment you will never. I can still close my eyes and see me in my red dress for my homecoming, my cream looking gold dress for my prom year. Yeah, I still remember my little banana peel hairstyle, my little crimps in my hair. Yes, I cannot get those moments back. So I had to be able to experience. Imagine if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk about it.
Yeah.
I had to. So I had to be a rebel.
Yeah.
I had to, so I can experience those moments, because that's what life is about.
Yeah, definitely. So, as we're, you move to your senior year, you know, you enjoy your year, you go out to college. Where'd you go to school?
Well, when I got out of high school, I went to the community college in my area. I'm from Palm Beach.
Okay.
So I started, it was called PBCC at that time.
I remember PBCC. Palm Beach State?
With this PBS, whatever they want to call it now. My mom said PBCC. I know, okay? That's what I'm going to go ahead and call it. So I did 2.5 years there. I got my AA. And then after a while, I went ahead and I transferred and I moved to Orlando. And I went to UCF.
Go Knights.
Yeah. So I moved to UCF. Like, I literally, right after when I got out of high school, I went straight into college. Did my 2.5 years and then transferred to UCF. And then when I got to UCF, after not even a year, all right, that is when I met my kid's father. That was the year when I met my kid's father, and that's when everything changed.
What was it like when you first met him? What was that? Was that a new experience for you? Did you date before? Had you been...
Yes and no. Yes and no. It was meeting someone, saying they love your personality, they love who you are, they love your skin tone, how beautiful and black. And growing up as a dark-skinned person, not too many people were like, oh my God, your skin. I did not get that a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, especially from no man either around my age. If I did hear a man, it was always like an older one saying, you know, you know, your skin is so beautiful, your skin is so beautiful. But it never really was boys or men around my age. So here you are, you meet someone that's like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I love your personality. Yeah, that's going to make me want to continue to keep talking to that person, because I didn't really get that from other people as much. So it was easy for me to go ahead and be sucked in by this person.
So how did it start off? Was it like a whirlwind romance?
Listen, everything started very fast. Everything started because he was a very, very charming person. Very, very charming. I mean, after a few months, he was baking the cake, saying happy anniversary, happy 3 months, happy 4 months. Oh yeah, getting.
Hey, you know, we like an unnecessary holiday.
Wind me up, you know what I'm saying? I was excited because I never experienced that. I never had someone be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Someone getting you flowers, like, what? You getting me flowers? So that charming piece of him was just like, oh yeah, this feels good. This feels good. I enjoyed that part, but that part did not last for long. It did not last for long at all. Things started to definitely change a few, I would say maybe like a good year or two later. About a year later, I would say things changed, but the dynamics of the relationship was changing as well because of things going on in his life. So it changed a lot of things as well. So that's what made me even really stay much longer with him, because of things unfolding. I met him, and months later, here I am. I'm pregnant. I was that girl.
So how long after?
Listen.
Did you get pregnant?
Oh, Lord. Gosh, am I ready to say? Am I ready to say?
This is a no-danger zone.
Am I ready to say? Listen, it wasn't even 6 months yet. And I ended up being pregnant. And at that time, even though a part of me was like, oh, I think you really shouldn't be having no kid right now. You're in school. You're taking your classes. You're doing well. You're in full time. Like, I had my own place. I had my own car. I had everything going for myself. You know what I'm saying? Everything was going for myself. So at that time, you know, even though I'm like, I shouldn't even be had it, but I was afraid. So I was in my mind, I was like, what if this is my only chance to actually have a kid?
Yeah.
You know, like in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. I've been taking care of my siblings and my younger family members and all the time, so I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. Not thinking anything different. Not thinking anything different at all. So
what did he say when he found out you were pregnant?
Oh, immediately, I still remember him like, don't you dare even think about wanting to get rid of it.
Wow.
That was immediately. And also, too, me going to have a kid, he really wanted it because of the fact of what was going on in his life with his mother being in and out of the hospital, and he was the youngest of his siblings.
Okay, yeah.
So it was like, okay, I'm the only one who don't have a kid here, you know, and I meet this girl. She has her own place, and she has her own car. She's in school. She got it going for herself.
Yeah.
You know? So let me go ahead and we're going to have a kid. We're going to have a kid. And even though I was not prepared, he already had it in his mind.
Wow.
He already had it in his mind, too, because I still remember that day. You know what I'm saying? It was, no, you're not going nowhere. It's not going to happen. No, you're going to stay here today, if you know what I mean, you know?
Wow.
So when that moment happened, I was like, oh, I didn't really think anything was going to happen.
Right, of course.
But when the next following month, you know, it did not come. So it was like, okay, well, we're here now. So we're going to figure it out, you know? But it was more so, let me go ahead and have this so I can be able to have a kid too, you know? I wasn't thinking anything wrong of it at all at that moment, at that time. You know, I was young. I was in my early 20s.
A child is always a blessing. But, you know, it's when it's a circumstance, you know, it's obviously.
I wasn't thinking that far with things at all. When you're young in your early 20s, your mindset totally different.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. You don't realize that until you get much older.
I was very dumb.
Oh, yeah. Young and dumb. Listen. Wow. That's why you gotta forgive. I have to learn to forgive that part of me. Then
how did you learn to do that?
Therapy.
I think that's hard for a lot of women.
Therapy. Going to therapy, talking to my therapist. She had to constantly remind me over and over, Edleen, that is not you. You have to give yourself grace. You have to forgive yourself and know that how you thought back then, how you thinking now, it's not what you had thought back then. You wasn't thinking of that. You wasn't looking at him in that type of manner. But once my mind was no longer cloudy anymore, I realized, oh yeah, this is not for me. This is not for me. It took me a long time though for me to realize it, but it happened.
Yeah, thank God it did.
It needed to.
So you mentioned that. Okay, so here you are. You guys get together, things are great, and then
things are moving fast.
Things move quickly. You're pregnant with your first child now.
We had to get a place together.
Yeah, so you're doing the whole relationship thing very quickly.
Yeah, we moved in. I'm still trying to go to school. I'm still taking my classes in the mix of it because that was my goal. Like, I can't let this stop me. Yeah. I don't care if I had to just take one class. I'm going to go ahead and still be able to go to school, you know. So no matter what, I still tried my best to still continue taking my classes if I couldn't take them at UCF due to money, I was taking them at Valencia College. Yeah, I was doing whatever I needed to do to keep going to school. Like, that was the goal. Like, because I knew, okay, I moved up here for this reason. I have to be able to accomplish my goal. I didn't want nothing to stop me from it, you know. So it moved quick.
How did your people take the news of the
petite. You know, we're Haitian.
Oh, yeah.
My parents were not happy with me at all. When my mom found out, my mom really truly made a huge scene. She made a huge scene. My dad was like, oh, Papa, don't even drive. Listen, my parents took it to the max, you hear me? And at that time, let me tell you, my mind was like, oh, you guys are just judging him. Oh, you guys don't even really know him like that. You know, because even though they spoke to him on the phone, they never had got a chance to really see him, you know. So here I am, I'm bringing this man home. They've never seen him before. You know, they spoke to him on the phone. You know, he charmed them up that way. He charmed them up, and then here he comes, he appears, and you know how our culture is. You cannot bring certain looks to them. But for me at that time, I'm like, oh, he's not even really that type of person. He's not really that type of person. You know, you guys are just judging. And my mom just kept saying, no, Elisa Babu. That's not for you. Nope. You're not going to bring that here. You're not going to be here. But I didn't care. Because at that time I felt like I was in love. I was in love. Y'all just judging. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Why are you trying to push this man away? No, this is for me. I'm in love. This is my sweetie baby. You know, but my mom knew what she was talking about. My dad knew what he was talking about. They know. They always know.
They be knowing.
Yeah, but at that time...
They be irritating, but they be knowing.
I did not care what my parents had to say. It was like, okay, well, you can judge all you want. This is who I'm going to be with, you know? And time started going by. You know, I had my first kid. Yeah. Had the second kid. And I continue to have more. You know, I have all 4 of my children are for him. You know, and like I was said... that I felt very good to be able to say that, to say, hey, all 4 of my kids, my 3 girls.
So that's what we were taught. That's the way that we were taught.
I felt good to be able to have that sense of mommy and daddy. Both of us in the home. We have our kids. You know, the painted picture. Yeah. That painted picture. And I also had to make sure I proved to my parents that, hey, whatever you guys were thinking is not really that for real. So I wanted to show them, like, hey, we're going to make this work, even though there was always that voice. There was always that doubt in the mind saying, Edlin, this ain't what you want. This ain't what you should be doing. But I feel like things happen so fast. And like I said, because of what happened, what was going on in his life at that time, it made me feel like I could not walk away from him because... So mention what things were happening. Well, at the beginning of our relationship, he lost his mom. So how do you walk away from a person that way? Yeah, so now you're feeling like you're in a place where you're like, I want to support you in this time. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? His mom was in and out the hospital, and eventually she ended up, passing away. So at that time, of course, I'm not going to want to go ahead. And, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is my children's father. So I want to be there for support. I want to be able to be there for him, in the midst of that. But in the same time, with dealing with that part, I'm also dealing with the part of him constantly being incarcerated. Oh, back and forth. When I had my first child, he was not there. My friends and my family, my friends, my siblings, my dad, my mom did not show up. She was still upset with me. Okay, she was still upset. But those were the people that was there for me. And he was not there. I had my first kid and he was not there at all. At all. And the crazy thing is, when I mentioned that, he also even tried to make me feel bad for him not being there. we gonna as crazy as it sounds, because it's how you figure that? Because at that time when he first ended up getting incarcerated, he tried to use an excuse of saying that he went to go get something for me, and when you got pulled over, you're the one that was driving without no license. You're the one that was on probation. You're the one that was doing all this. You chose to go out for yourself. You didn't go out to try to go get something for me. But you try to blame. I won't try to blame me. You going out to get Haagen-Dazs for me, and you said I put you in jail. You went to go ahead and go do what you went to go do. You got pulled over and you got arrested. You end up getting arrested. So here I am thinking you're gonna get out before I have this kid, and you don't. But it's like, oh, well, if I didn't leave to go ahead and go do this, I went to go get something for you. And said, no, you did not. You went to go get something for yourself. You used me as an excuse to say you was doing it, but that was not the case. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely played that part. He definitely played that part, but that was not the reason. So when I had my first kid, he was not there, but I still continued to go ahead and be there, be supportive, because I didn't want to walk away from that. I didn't want to leave him feeling like he didn't have nobody.
Support, yeah.
So listen, when you hear the talk about saying, oh, the ride or die chick, I was the ride or die chick. Okay, I was there. I was at the visitations. I was there. You hear me? Every other weekend, especially when he ended up having to do prison time, I was there. One weekend, I was chugging the kids to go see him. The next following weekend, it was just me. Every other weekend, I was chugging every single time, just to show, like, hey, I'm there for you. You're not alone. But in the same time, playing the mind game. You know what I'm saying? Saying, oh, you can leave if you want to leave, you can leave. But I'm feeling like that for real though. I'm really feeling like that, but I don't want to. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna be there. I don't want you to feel like you're alone.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a lot going on. Everything happened super, super fast at the beginning. So once all that happened in the beginning, it was hard to really walk away. Because now you're feeling the sense of you're kind of stuck. And then at the same time, you're also saying, okay, well, this is my kid's father. You know what I'm saying? I want to still have that mommy and daddy look.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still wanted to go ahead and still have that. I want to show everyone, paint that picture still.
So throughout this time that the relationship dynamic started to shift, did you start to recognize any signs of abuse at the time?
Oh, yes.
Before it became,
yes. Let me tell you, the tantrums, getting upset when you didn't get your way, breaking things, you know what I'm saying, hitting the walls, but it's the constant breaking things and throwing things all over the place. It was always a disaster in the home.
Wow.
Every single time. And guess who had to clean it up?
You.
Me. I was the one who was always cleaning up, because he definitely wasn't going to go ahead and go do it after he done threw everything down. And a lot of those arguments started because I did not want to give in to something. I didn't want to give my car keys, because you want to use my vehicle to go ahead and go do whatever foolishness, but you don't have no license, and if something happens,
that's my car. Yeah.
I'm the one that's going to be in a problem. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're going to be perfectly fine. I'm the one that's going to suffer, and we have children.
Yeah.
It's not going to mean nothing to you, because I'm going to have to figure it out every single time. You don't have to figure it out. I'm going to have to figure it out. The constant throwing the temper tantrums, getting upset, and if I were to say something, they're getting in the face. You know what I'm saying? Oh, your mouth, you too slick in the mouth, you too slick in the mouth. Am I too slick in the mouth, or I'm actually telling you about yourself?
Right.
And you don't want to hear it. You don't like what I have to say to you in regards to your behavior, because you're acting like a little kid right now. You're throwing a temper tantrum. You're throwing things. You're breaking things all over the place because I don't want to give you my keys, or I don't want to go ahead and I don't want to sleep with you. You can't be upset at me for something like that. You know. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So that was like the biggest part. Just the angry every single time, and the manipulation, the constant name callings. You know, when you have someone, when they get upset and because they don't get their way and they want to tell you, oh, you're dumber than a box of rocks. Like, excuse me? Like, where did you go? What did you do? What did you accomplish? You know what I mean? But it was more so of the aggression, like the being aggressive part. And at that time, I'm just like, okay, we're young. It's not really that much of a big deal, and I'm looking at it as he's grieving through things, he's still dealing with the whole with the mom.
So you're finding like excuses
I found
for his behavior.
Yes.
Yeah.
I found a lot of excuses.
I mean, if a lot of us are honest, we're all women, we can be honest. We do that.
We do.
Especially if it's not a person we're ready to let go of yet.
Yeah, we do.
Or somebody that we feel like we can change.
Yes.
We try to excuse things that are not excusable.
You can say that part again. Thinking you can change them. Mm-hmm. Thinking you can change, and that is not.
That's not.
But
nobody can change if there's anybody that, not just a man, anybody.
Mm. It got worse. And the thing is, too, I think a lot of times when people hear the word domestic violence, they just think that you and this person are like constantly fighting physical all the time. And that is not always the case. It's more to that. It's so much more.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the mental abuse, the whole psychological part, the whole verbal part. You know? Once they've already gotten here, once it's already here, the physical part is nothing.
Oof.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, you can hit someone, you're going to feel it, you know what I'm saying? It's going to sting for a little bit.
It's
going to go away. But you're going to always remember, here we are years later, I still can remember some of the things that was said. You're never going to forget those. That's why I always say be kind to people. You be careful with your words. You're never, ever going to forget those moments. You will never, ever, ever forget. They're going to always stick there. So that's the thing that I really want people to understand. Like, it's not about just the physical part. It's so much more to it. Once they get here, that it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a hard thing to come back from. Because in your mind, you're thinking, okay, you're making excuses. You're thinking you can change this person. No matter how many times things happen between us, it was always, okay, it's because of this. It's because of that way. But after some time, I realized, no, this is truly this person's character. This is their behavior. Yeah. This is they get angry. And all that stuff happened from the beginning. And it just continued to happen. It wasn't like a everyday, weekly type thing. It was, okay, I didn't get my way, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw this around, or I'm going to disappear for hours of the day knowing that I need to get some rest and be able to go to work or go to class, and I can't. I got the kids. You purposely make sure that you're gone to where I cannot get no rest. I can't do any of that. And if I say something, it triggers you get upset, now you're in my face, and I wasn't backing down. And I think that's where a lot of the issues really occurred, because I was not backing down. You in my face, I'm in your face too. You know what I'm saying? You want to grab me by my chest, I'm going to grab you right by yours as well too. Now, granted, I know I can't even get you 100%, but you want to tussle, we're going to tussle together. You take me out here, but you won't have a scratch or something. We're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to do something. I'm not backing down, and that was the biggest issue. Because I was not backing down. Most of the times, you see on TV in the movies, it's just a man that's always doing, no. Uplo. That's just how it was. And it was always Adeline, you think you can fight a man? Adeline, you think you can fight a man? Listen, I know I can't really fight a man 100%, but
if I got 20, if you feel this full 20%,
we're gonna you gotta feel something. That's just how it's gonna have to be. But that was the issue. It was like, okay, she ain't backing down. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But at that time, you're not even really thinking that it's that much of a big issue. You're just like, hey, listen, you ain't gonna treat me that type of way. But that didn't even matter. What mattered was the things that was said, how I was treated, the things that you were doing. And as the years progressed, it just got worse. The physical part, that slowed down. But it's that mental part, the verbal part, the financial abuse part.
Talk a little bit about financial abuse, because I think that when we think about domestic violence, when we think about intimate partner violence, we often don't mention financial abuse, and some people don't even know what it is. So, what is financial abuse?
The way that I would basically explain it, not just from I'll give, my situation. Yeah. But when you think about financial abuse, it could be where someone doesn't even want you to be able to work. You know, you hear stories about where you hear where they want the woman to be a stay-at-home mom, where the man wants for the woman to be that solely so he can just control everything, control the finances, to where if something were to happen, you can't survive. You can't do anything for yourself, because that's a sense of control. He has that power. He has the upper hand, you know. So that plays a huge part in that. For me, when I speak in regards to financial abuse, for my case, it was more so of not you have it, but you're purposely not wanting,
withholding it.
Yeah, you're purposely withholding it, or you're lying about it. You know, imagine you asking someone to, you know, imagine you constantly have to keep reminding someone over and over, hey, you know, rent is due on this day.
Yeah.
You know we have that grace period. Why should I have to come and say, hey, when are you going to give your part of the rent? You know what I'm saying? You're working. When are you going to go ahead and give yours? Oh, I didn't get this day. Oh, I'm going to get it this time or whatnot. And me, I don't forget. You know what I'm saying? You know, and a lot of times it was through text and stuff, and I used to be kind of like a little nervous. I'm nervous to go ask pour coblage on you. You gotta go ahead and go give with. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that moment is gonna turn into something. You're gonna come home with a funky attitude. You just don't know what you're gonna be in. You're either gonna come home either intoxicated, under the influence, whatever it is, and it's gonna just be complete chaos. Yeah. I'm on edge to even message you and ask you, when are you going to go ahead and give your part? And then when I do, you give me this complete lie. But then days later, I stumble on some type of receipt or something, or a pay stub. You actually got paid. So what did you do? So you purposely, and here we are, we're struggling. We're struggling. You know what I mean? We're struggling on things, and you have it, but you rather see us go through that. Not just me, but it's me and your children.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? And you're making sure you do all the things that you need to do for yourself. But I have to make sure I'm doing this. I'm doing this, busting my butt, working 2 jobs to make ends meet. But you got it, and I really shouldn't have to. But you're purposely either withholding. You're purposely not really going to work. You know, granted, okay, I get it, you know, you had a bad background, but you had opportunities to be able to do other things.
Right.
But you don't want nobody telling you what to do. You can't work for the white man. That was your excuse. So nobody can say anything to you. So you'll quit a job quick. Women, no, I can't.
Yeah.
You know, I can't. I got kids.
Yeah.
I got mouths to feed. But you, there ain't no problem for you. You'll quit with no problem. It don't mean nothing. What does it mean to you? Adeline got it. Adeline gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
If I quit this job, Adeline got it. Adeline gonna take care of it. She gonna make sure things gonna happen. Because it will. It is gonna happen. I am gonna take care of it. Despite of whatever it is that you chose, whatever decision you chose to go ahead and go do. You felt like you didn't want to deal with this boss no more. You ain't like how he spoke to you, so you quit.
And then just the weight of that is falling on you. Because you gotta protect your kids.
Yeah, I have no choice. You don't have no choice, you know. But it's just just knowing that you were able to, but you didn't. You got it, but you didn't. You just rather do what you need to do for yourself. You rather lie about it and withhold from it, or spend it on everything else but what we need to take care of. You're gonna make sure you take care of your needs and do all that, and rather let us go ahead and struggle through things.
Wow. So throughout the course of the verbal abuse, the mental abuse, physical, financial abuse, at what point did you, before things came to a peak, was there any point that you sat with yourself or spoke to God and was like, yo, I can't no more? When did it come to a head for you where you're like, okay, I can't?
Listen, when it's so many moments. It's so many moments. When I say so many moments. But I knew it was really, really bad when every single time when I would come, you get that feeling when you going home, and it's like, oh God, yes, I'm excited to. I'm getting off of work. I'm excited to go home, but you don't know what you about to walk into. You don't know where this person's mind's going to be at, what it's going to be like. None whatsoever. Everybody's on eggshells. The moment you hear those footsteps coming, everybody's scattering. My kids...
So even the kids were responding to the way that he was...
If the kids were anywhere in the home, in the living room, my kids would go into their rooms. They would go into... Because we just never knew how he was going to come home. What attitude, what mood he was going to go ahead and go be in. Because we all were going to have to feel it. Everybody was going to have to feel it. The loud playing the music 3, 4 in the morning. Knowing that we got to get up in a few hours. It don't matter, because I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do, and you can't say nothing to me, because even if you do say something to me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lash it. I'm going to break this. I'm going to throw this. I'm going to walk out at 4 o'clock in the morning and don't come back until hours later. So it was a constant every single time. And after a while, you're just like, oh my God, Athene, like, how much longer of this you gonna go? Like, this is the same behavior. We were just like this when we was in Orlando. Now here we are, we're here in Broward, and it, you know, yeah, the physical part slowed down, but everything else still continued, and it seemed like that even got even worse. You know, because a lot of times I never wanted for my kids to experience any of that. I didn't want for my kids to see us in that type of state, but I know that they heard. Because my mouth was reckless. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to say, I don't like what you're doing and how you're moving about and so forth. And because of that, you know what I'm saying, he would just lash out about things. But he knew that I would not react. I wasn't with that rah, 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 screaming and yelling, because I didn't want for my kids to experience that. I didn't want for my kids to have to see that. And he knew it. He knew it. He knew if he did a certain thing or he said something, I was going to be quiet. If the kids were there, I was going to be quiet. I wasn't going to say nothing. He knew that. He knew, and I wasn't going to get the police involved or anything like that, because I wanted to save my name. I didn't want to dirty up my name, to sod my name. You know what I'm saying? You already messed yours up, sir, but I don't want to come and mess mine up. I don't want for my kids to be involved in any of having, you know what I'm saying, the police at our house or how you call it again, CPS or whatever. I'm saying HIS, But I didn't want for my children to experience any of that. But he knew it. He knew that I was not going to be with the loud and the screaming, with all the yelling, any of that. But once we were in that room, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. You can get in my face all you want to. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I didn't care. I was going to stand on that. No matter what. I didn't care what you chose to do after that. And so, that's just what it was, you know. But he knew. He knew. He knew. He knew.
Wow.
You know. Took full advantage of that part. Basically.
So, when did things get to a point where you felt like, okay, well, how did that end? Thankfully not tragically, because you're still here.
No, thankfully not, because I've experienced to where it was, he just was such in like the mindset of him, especially after losing his mom, it was just always constant. The behavior was just so bad all the time. And I felt like I was being a mom, always saying, "Hey, don't do this and don't do that," or if you do this, you know, this is what's gonna happen. Because I knew whatever you do, it was gonna affect me. I was gonna be the one, because your family wasn't really helping and doing what they need.
Right.
What they need to. And if anything, they were blaming me and saying, "Why you let him do these things? Why you let him get in trouble?"
Whew.
You know what I'm saying? So, experiencing that and realizing, okay, this is the same thing years after years, nothing has really changed. And then when I finally actually got to experience, I don't even know why I even say experience, but when I found out that man started cheating on me, that was just like the biggest slap in the face. Because why you wouldn't have did that to me? The person that's been by your side, the person that, you know what I'm saying, that's been loyal to you, your ride or die, even in the midst of us tussling and doing and going through all that, But me, you chose to go ahead and go do that to me. I've been there for you all this time, and you still chose to go ahead and go do that to me. You know, the first time, okay, and you find out, I was like, all right, whatever, you know, I'm going to forgive. You know, we were young. We started dating at such a young age, in our early 20s or whatever. You know, you find all the excuses.
Yeah.
Found all the excuses. But it did not stop. It did not stop. And I couldn't talk to
anybody.
When I said nobody, I did not share none of this stuff with none of my friends. None of my friends that I was close to, not even my family. I held a lot in.
What was the reason why you feel?
One, I don't feel like they would really believe it because he was such a charming person to everyone. You know, he painted this picture like he was a family guy. You know, they wouldn't believe him. They wouldn't believe me about him. You know, and even now when I did start opening up and sharing things with my friends, they're just like, "What, Adeline? Like, I can't believe." Yeah. This was my life for years, and when I say years, 17 whole years.
Jesus.
17. You know, I don't even want to say the 17. I really want to say 15, to be honest with you. Because in the last 2 years, you know what I'm saying, I would say we were not together. You know how you hear the story where they say the people, they live together,
yeah,
not together? Well, that's where we were. Okay? We were not together. I don't want to count them last 2 years. But them last 2 years were the years of where I was like begging God, hey, let's see Mrs. Like, find a way to get this man out of my life. What is it? What can you do? What do I need to do to get this man? Because every single time I feel like I'm there to say, okay, you can go about your business, like get away from us, leave us alone. Like, you're just such a bad vibe when every time you're around. But then I start feeling bad. I start feeling sorry, and I'm like, you ain't got nowhere to go. All the excuses.
Yeah.
All the excuses is what I start doing. And then after some time, when you start realizing this person don't care, you know, that person ain't got nothing to lose, they're not going to care for you. None whatsoever. And having to find out of the constant betrayal, you know what I'm saying, you're sitting here sleeping around with multiple different people. You know, when we talk about this whole financial abuse part, we're struggling financially, but you have money to go ahead and sleep with other complete strangers, women that you don't know, women that they're called escorts. So I had to find that out as well too. Here we are, we money's tight as it is, but you got money to go ahead and go spend on a complete stranger. On a complete stranger, you have money to go ahead and do that. And what about us? What about the things that we need to go ahead and take care of? But you have money to go ahead and go do that. You can go ahead and go do that. And when I had to experience that, when I tell you, I cried like for a whole year straight. I used to sit in my classroom and just cry. Wow. Cry like every day. And I know my students were able to know. My eyes were puffy red, you know, they're missing, you okay? So, you know, you can see it. I used to literally be begging God to get this man out of my life. Every day, every single day, man. Every day for a whole year straight. I still remember every single time I sat in my classroom, and I used to say every single time, Mrs. Asumwe, because I felt it every single time when I would go home. It was always something, like I hated being there. I hated being there every single time. And I used to literally beg every single time, get this man out of my life. Like asking God, asking the universe, whatever, whoever, get this man out of my life. Find some way to make him leave and don't come back. Because even when I did put him out, I felt bad and I let him come back. You know? But when that day finally came, and I was just like, okay, I can't deal with this no more. I can't, because now not only are you doing things to me, you're mentally and emotionally abusing me, but now you're doing things, you're mistreating our kids. You know what I'm saying? You're doing things that are just like, are you serious? What, do you really have to go ahead and go do that? Do you have to act that way? These are your children. Why are you acting in that type of manner? You know what I'm saying? They're not strangers. So once that started occurring, it's like, okay, yeah, it's one thing to do to me.
Yeah.
To me. But now you taking it too far, because now you're doing things to my children. You know what I'm saying? You're acting completely like you ain't got no sense. Do it to me. Mm-hmm. But if I tell you, you know how that is when you hear about their kids, how moms are. Don't do it to them. Don't mistreat them.
Yeah, they're innocent.
Don't mistreat them. You know. And when that happened, it was just like, okay, listen. And I still was being nice. Hey, you got till this time. You need to go ahead and go. You need to leave. He was like, all right, no problem. Around little by little, he was packing the little that he had that was there. And when that day, and then something ended up happening, we got into it, and it was about the kids. And I'll never ever forget that day. I'll never forget that day when he ended up, I ended up calling him, and I was like, hey, like, what is your plan? What are you planning on doing? You know, you got to do this. My son, he's waiting on you. And at that time, my son is standing there, and he's, like, begging me, like, Mom, no, because it's going to ruin the plans that he had with him.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And he's on the phone, you're this with this kid, or you let them do this and you let them do that. Because our parenting styles are two different. Mm-hmm. Two different styles. You want to be authority. No,
yeah.
Talk to you. Know how to talk to your kids. You know what I mean? And when that situation happened, I remember being on the phone, and he was like, well, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And when I tell you, in the most calmest, I wasn't yelling, I wasn't screaming, I wasn't with none of that rah-rah. I just said, you can leave. You want me to leave? You want me to leave? Yeah, you can leave. All right, then I'm gonna get my son. Okay, no problem. No problem. When I tell you, I was so calm. I was so, I didn't feel bad. I didn't have that feeling of, okay, he's going to come back to the house and terrorize things and act a fool or anything like that. No. It's like my body was already prepared. Mm-hmm. Like, if he came on that, like, it was going to be World War III. You know, but I was just very, very calm when he's there. What do you want me to do? And I said, you can leave. He said, okay, you can leave. He said, all right. And I ended up leaving. When I came back to the home, he had already got all the stuff that he needed. Oh, that's it. By the time when I got home, within not even an hour, I fixed up that room. You would have never known I had a man living with me. It was like the sense of freedom. Oof. It was a huge, huge, huge freedom. And all this occurred the night before the first day of school.
Wow.
The first day of school.
So you went into the next school year free.
When that happened years ago, the next day I had to go to work. And every time I still hold on to that picture. Every time you can see it.
On your face?
You can see, like, my face was still puffy, because later on that night I cried. But it wasn't a cry of, oh, I'm changé, like I missed her. It was just like
a release.
Yes, it's like, Edlene, you got bold now. you finally, you went ahead and you did it. You actually went ahead and you finally did it, because I was so calm, and my kids were like, it's about time, mommy. What took you so long? So your kids knew? Oh yeah. Sometimes people be thinking kids do not pay attention and they don't know what's going on. The kids knew. So when people stay for their kids? Oh, no. I'm going to always say, do not stay for the kids. Leave for the kids. If it wasn't for the fact of having to see how the way that he was acting around with the kids and so forth, and then, you know, finding out what the whole cheating part is and everything, those, like, really played a huge part where it's like, all right, you got to get this man away from me, because he's not going to change. He is not going to change. He will forever be exactly who he is, because it was the same thing. And it's so crazy when I say that, because he was always saying, oh, you change. And I used to, like, hard down and be like, no, I'm not. I'm still Edlene. I'm still doing this. I'm still doing that. He's like, oh, no, you're not the same. Nah, it's because I started setting boundaries. I started saying no. to a lot of things. Like, no, you're not going to do that. No, I'm not going to go ahead and do this. No, I'm not going to allow you to go ahead and talk to me that type of way or treat me or do this or anything like that. So when I started doing that thing, it triggered. It triggered him big time, because now it's, you change. And at that time, I wasn't really going for that. I was like, no, I did. But I did.
Yeah.
I did. And at that time, I didn't. But while I was changing, you was still being the same way. You still was doing the same things that you was doing. You still was doing the same things that you was doing. You know, ain't nothing changed. It was a constant. As soon as we get into the car, you're driving reckless. I'm in the car when you.
Yeah.
I thought I would have broke my listen, about to break my ankle, holding on to the thing, about to break my wrist. It was times where I know my friends, I was telling my homegirl this. I was like, sometimes when I would text you and say, hey, I'm going here, there's a reason why, because I'm letting you, she didn't know it at that time. But I'm texting like, hey, I'm on my way to here, I'm on my way to there. Why? Because this man is doing already happening from the beginning. This was already happening from the beginning, and I didn't really see it as a big thing. You know what I'm saying? It was already happening. The getting upset, throwing the temper tantrum, throwing things around, breaking this. His friend that stayed with us had to experience it and see it. He had to come in between. You know what I'm saying? The girlfriend who was always coming, she had to come in between. Had to get the kids to make sure, take them away or whatever and stuff, because again, you know what I'm saying, you blow. We hello, what you gonna do here? So it was always back and forth, and if he didn't get his way, it was just always a complete disaster, making a scene. Got so angry. I laugh every single time when I think about this, because the man was so angry because I did not want to give my car keys. Machine palm, clip palm with my keys. He was so angry, always fighting me. Like, I used to hide my keys inside of my bra, my money, if he, especially when he was at working and he wanted to be able to go ahead and do things for himself or whatnot, he would always want to try to go ahead and go take what I got. And I used to hide myself, take it, put it in my, always hiding my money or hiding my car keys. And he was fussing. He wanted the keys so bad. That man took my purse, literally took my purse and hung it on the rail of the stairs downstairs, hung it on the rail and set my purse on fire. I kid you not. Set my purse on fire in front of all his friends in the neighborhood, the people that he used to hang out with. Okay, took my purse, hanging on the rail, and set my purse on fire. All because I did not want to get my keys, my car keys. So you can go ahead and go do whatever the foolishness that you were going to. I don't even know where he was going to go or whatever it was, but it's the fact that I didn't want to give my keys because I didn't want for you to go ahead and get pulled over. I lose my car. I didn't even care about the fact that you was going to go ahead and go get arrested. I didn't want my car. You know what I'm saying? My car, but no. That was the behavior. Took my purse. It was, what do you call those DB? It was old
Dooney and Burke.
Yes. I will always remember. I thought I was,
of course.
Purse, But because I would not give him my keys, took it. Was able to get the purse, you know what I'm saying? But I had already stashed the keys and my money and my card and all that. And he took my purse, brought it downstairs, and set my purse on fire. Because I did not want to go ahead and get my stuff. And it was constant. If I didn't want to get something, he would terrorize the house. Terrorize, constantly finding stuff. And after a while, he realized and got serious on me, you know what I'm saying, when you hustling like that and so forth. So I started having to get smart, not having it on the keychain, just take the one thing and hiding it wherever and throughout the house. But you don't want to be like that all the time. And after a while, you do give in. Yeah. Because you don't want to have to keep going back and forth all the time, having to tussle with someone that they don't hear you. Yeah. They don't hear you because they're going to do what they want to do. And I lived like that for so many years. After a while, you're like, nah, it gets tiring. You get drained. But like I said, the physical part, that was nothing for me. It was nothing because, you know, you don't really look at it in that type of sense in that moment. It was nothing, and I think it's a lot because I was
broken
fighting
in so many other ways.
Yeah, and because I was fighting back, so it was like, oh, okay, whatever. But I was always crying. That emotional abuse, that verbal abuse, that financial part, you know what I'm saying? Spiritually. There was a time I stopped going to church. All because he made me feel bad. Made me feel bad, was able to manipulate me and say I'm not giving enough time, I'm not spending enough time. I was going to work, and the one day that I did have off was the Sunday. And after a while, after making me feel so bad for not using that day, I stopped going. I stopped going with me and the kids. And the kids used to ask, Mommy, why we stop going? I couldn't tell them at the time. It was really because of your dad.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted that moment. But that moment, what we were doing, nothing. But you just wanted that control. It was a sense of power, you know. But all those things, it was from the beginning. And if you miss those signs, they will continue. They will continue, and they will just get worse. Like literally from the beginning, once you realize that, okay, this is not good. This person is not good for me. You literally got to remove yourself ASAP. Because once they get control of you, it's hard. It's very, very hard for you to go ahead and get out. You cannot. When they say them flags, them things were waving. Them things were waving in front of my face. When I say they were waving, but I wasn't seeing that. I was in love. I was in love. You couldn't tell me nothing about this man. Nothing. But as years go by, it was a constant same behavior every single time. Every single time. And like I said, when I got to that last year of crying all the time, you know what I'm saying, constantly having to worry, who is he with? Is he sleeping with this person? Is he doing with that? And if I don't give in, you know what I'm saying, now I'm getting the silent treatment. You know, you still doing whatever the heck you want to do.
Right.
But because I don't want to go ahead and give in, now I got to get the silent treatment. You know, at first, I couldn't handle that.
Right.
I couldn't handle the silent treatment at all. I was like, why are you treating me like that? You know, I want to talk. I want to have conversation. Like, why you got to act like that? Let's talk about our situation. No, you rather give me the silent treatment for days, week, 2, and I'm still cooking. I'm still doing this and still doing that. And after a while, all that had to come to the end. It had to come to the end. Once I realized that I needed to stop doing those things, that's when I realized that, then you got the power. I stopped the cooking. You know, like I said, remember I said at the beginning, I did the stuff where I saw my mom doing, the cooking, making sure this and that. I had to stop all of that. It was so easy for him to just come home, boom, pop open that microwave. The plate of food is right there. It's ready for him. You know, he come home, you know what I'm saying, for work. It's right there. Wherever he would come from, it was right there. I had to stop that. I had to stop that. He didn't like it. He didn't like it. None whatsoever. One bit. But he slowly started realizing, like, okay, she ain't wrapped too tight for real. Like, no, she's not going to do it. I stopped doing that. I wash my stuff. No, you figure it out. I had to literally let him do all the stuff on his own. Stop doing all these things. And that was a huge problem. That was a huge problem because now I'm really changing. You're not doing the things that you used to do. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not going to inconvenience myself to go and help you out with things and so forth. You messing up this, my credit, all that. No. That is, can you go ahead and put this and rent this for me? I can't. And it was so hard to do at first.
So how did you muster the strength up to do it?
I just had to. Like, it was just that, like, I was talking to myself in the mirror, literally saying, okay, when that day comes and he asks for this, Adeline, you better be ready to say no. Or when we get into an argument and I know he's going to come and say something, he's going to come butter me up or whatever and stuff. And, you know what I'm saying, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give in, we're going to get intimate and everything's going to be fine. You know, he's going to come and ask and I'm going to be okay. No, I had to prep myself, like, okay, the day when he comes and he says something to you, Adeline, be ready to be like, I don't want to engage in that.
You literally coached yourself.
Yeah, I had to literally coach myself, you know. Wow. And then in the midst before we split, you know, I started going to therapy. I started talking to my therapist, sharing things with her.
Wow.
And explaining to her certain things. And that's when, and I remember her saying, well, it be sounding like you're trying to protect him. And I had to realize I was still trying to protect his image. Still didn't want to talk about how he looked. Still out there looking like everything's okay. But when we get home, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. At home, he's not there. He's in the streets. He's doing whatever the heck he want to do. And stuff. And then come home like nothing ever happened. And I had to go ahead and do that. Not really wanting to say anything because, again, I don't want us tussling.
Right.
I don't want arguing. I don't want the lashing out or who knows what you're going to do. You know, I don't want for my kids. That was always, I don't want for my kids. 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 And the whole time I'm thinking I'm protecting them in a sense. When in reality, they already know what's going on. They already know. But it was just like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
A roller coaster.
So here you are, years later.
Mm-hmm.
Healing, rebuilding.
Ooh.
Where are you now?
How would I say? Certain things don't trigger me as much anymore. I could be able to talk more about my situation without boo-hoo crying a whole lot, you know, just a tad bit, you know, but not being afraid to share my situation with people, not being afraid to say, yes, I was with this man for this amount of years. You know, there was a time I was a little ashamed to say that, especially the fact that because we were not married to each other. So, you know, I was always getting them like, oh, y'all not married still? Y'all not married still? So when we did get engaged, when he did ask the question, I felt a little like, okay,
yeah, now I can talk about it.
But like I said, when it was that time for us to go, God knew it shouldn't. It wasn't going to happen. It was always something that came in.
Wow.
And I'm glad because there's no telling
where you would be right now.
Where would I be and how things would have played out if we did end up having to say I do to each other. It wouldn't have been easy. And it wouldn't have been easy at all. So I always say I'm grateful for that moment, you know, but it's easier to speak about my situation because I realized that I was not the only one. There's so many other. When I started speaking to different women or reading other women's stories online, I realized like, oh my God, Adeline, you're not the only one.
You're not alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not alone in this. There's so many other people that's dealing with it that's even 10 times worse than what you were dealing with, but you're not alone. You know what I'm saying? And don't feel bad for accepting the things that you went through. You didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? You were blinded. I was blind. I was in love. You know what I mean? Which is what I thought I felt in that moment. You know? So I'm okay with being able to speak freely in regards to my situation in hopes that someone else who's either in it to understand, like, hey, if this man is talking to you in any kind of way, he's talking reckless to you from the beginning, If this man gets upset and he even act like he's finna go ahead and put his hands on you, you need to go. You need to immediately walk away from it, because when you don't, you are gonna go ahead and fall into it, and you're not gonna be able to get out.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be easy for you to go ahead and get out. All of the signs were there from the beginning.
But I'm glad that you realized that the picture wasn't worth
all
that suffering.
No. I had to definitely put myself in therapy. I needed to. When I realized that, I felt like I was losing my mind some days. You know, I feel like I couldn't concentrate when I was at work. I constantly wanted to know what was he up to at that time, and wondering if I'm okay, because you know that the whole betrayal part of you doing the things you do, and you know, imagine having to go to the doctor and you have to that day you're like, oh, I need to take everything.
Yeah.
Because, you're not even thinking this because you're like, I'm only with that one person. But that one person that you're with is not with just you.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure your mindset is totally different. But when I started going to therapy, it unleashed a lot of things. It made me realize exactly why I went through the things that I went through. Because, again, I was mimicking my mom, because that's what we were told.
Yeah.
That's what I was told to do, to take care and make sure and stuff. And if I did bring any little slightest issue to her, it was y'all gotta figure it out. But I wasn't really being honest either. I wasn't really telling her everything. And so because I was too ashamed to even talk about it, because I know I was gonna hear that edlin te palowi te dusa, and she did. She made sure she reminded me and let me know te do limunsapapu. I told you this person was not no good for you. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't even mad when it was said to me. Right. Because,
at that point, you're seeing for yourself.
Yeah, she warned me. My dad definitely tried to warn me. Before my dad passed, he definitely did. He definitely did. Because my dad got to experience a moment between us seeing how angry, how he got one time. My dad saw it. And I remember that day, we got into it really bad. Really bad that day. And I remember him screaming, love me like I want to be loved. Love me how I want to be loved. And I'm thinking to myself, I've been with you all the time. I'm doing all this. And you still don't feel like I love you? Yeah, I'm not for you. I'm not for you. I'm not. I know in the midst of all this, you're saying all this and you're dragging me from the room into the living room because you're so upset because things didn't go your way at that time. And I'm tussling with you, and you tell me love me like I want to be loved.
Did he ever explain what that meant?
And stuff. I felt like he wanted me to deal with whatever it is that he did, like I was his mama. Your mama accepted
because he had that
your behavior. Your mama accepted all your behavior, all the things that you used to do. It didn't matter.
He was also a
what
kid
it is
at the time.
So I had to accept it too. I had to go ahead and just deal with whatever behavior that you were dealing with. And that was not fair to me.
No.
That was not fair to me. But at that time, I was not thinking of any of that. You know what I'm saying? I still was feeling sorry. Even still using excuses. But after a while, you wake up. You wake up, and when I started going to therapy, she started making me understand more and more those childhood wounds, those childhood trauma.
It means a lot.
It plays a huge part in a relationship. You don't realize that at that time, but it plays a huge part. A huge part in your relationship. Big time. And that's what would keep you in things a lot much longer than you should. Big time. But I learned, man. I learned, but now I can freely be able to talk about things. I don't get triggered by certain things. I mean, it was so bad that if I heard a name, because of the name that I was able to find in his phone, it would bother me. Because, oh, dang, I remember seeing that type of name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might laugh, but I had a student that was registered to my class that day. And when I tell you, I could not deal. I could not. Hey, can you put that student in? My class is full. Nah.
They had the same name.
Had the same exact name.
Wow.
And I could not see myself having to call that name every single day, knowing that I've just found out this is the person that's just right there in the neighborhood area, right in the neighborhood. I couldn't deal. Hey, can you? My class is already a little overpacked. You might want to switch her to that. No, I couldn't. I couldn't. I'm okay now.
Yeah.
But back then, if I hear certain names, certain things, it would bother me. It would bother me. But Now I can handle it now. It's nothing now, but back then, certain behaviors, certain noise. You know how when someone's walking with their tennis shoes,
Yeah,
and it makes that
the squeaky
screech,
noise.
Okay, that was an issue because you would always hear that noise when he would be coming home. So it was always okay. As soon as you hear that noise, it's like the tense feeling of knowing like, all right, he's about to come in here. You know, tell him what type of mood is he gonna be in a good mood today? Is he gonna be what type of mood he's gonna be in? Because if whatever mood it is, somebody gonna have to feel it, and it's gonna end up being more than likely me. You know what I'm saying? So I used to be bothered hearing that.
Yeah.
So, and so that little thing right there,
Wow.
you just never knew. You know, if being intoxicated, I used to pour out the drink. If they was there, I would purposely pour them out because it's like, no, you don't need to be drinking anymore
that
because there's no telling how you're gonna go ahead and go act. But sometimes that didn't work in my favor. That did not work in my favor. It's like, oh, I know I just bought that. I know that was full, and you know what I'm saying. Now it's gone. No, that's because of me. I didn't want to have to keep experiencing that behavior because if it wasn't the lashing out, now it's you're so emotional. I don't have nobody else. Oh, it's just you, Adeline. It's just you. It's just you. And then I start feeling sorry.
Yeah.
I start feeling bad for you. And so, no, I want to stay mad. I want to stay mad. I'm trying to break free from this.
Right.
You know, don't come and tell me any of that stuff. But when I realized that, oh, Adeline, you do have the power. You do have sense. You know, when you start setting those boundaries, you realize like, okay, you can, you know what I'm saying, be in control of things. They're not the ones who have all the control as you might think.
Yeah.
You know, so it takes time. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. Those were my years, a long time, and I always get mad at myself sometimes. Well, used to. I can give myself grace now with it, but there was a time I was so upset. Like, how dare you at least stay that long?
But the good thing is that you're free now.
Oh yes.
Like it might have taken however long it took.
It took me a long.
The alternative to that is that you could have still been there.
Yep.
So you're out.
Yep.
And you know God is making His ways with you.
Big time.
And healing you every single day. Oof. And that's what you have to look forward to, which is a beautiful thing to look forward to. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Aww. Thank you for allowing me to even come and be able to share this side of me.
I'm definitely honored. I know it is not easy.
No.
One, to live through what you lived through and to recount it and tell it so vividly for us.
Yeah.
And, you know, just seeing how much you love your children.
Yeah, my baby. Even though they're grown and big.
Wow. Thank you so much, Adeline. So I like to leave everybody with the word of the day. But I think as we close, I really feel like I want to encourage anybody who's watching, if you are experiencing any kind of abuse, find the help that you need. Even if that starts with just one person.
Yes.
Letting somebody in and letting God in.
Yes.
Allowing Him to help you. Now, sometimes we cast all of our cares on God and then that's it, where we stop. But I believe that God empowers us to make the decisions we got to make. And for anybody watching, I think that, especially lately, we've heard so many stories of so many great women who were cut off at their prime because they were in an abusive situation. And we would be remiss to not, you know, mention that. But if you are here and you're watching, you're alive. Yes. And, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but you gotta you got to get there and get out of there. So I encourage you to, call. There are domestic violence hotlines. There are resources.
There's plenty of resources
to help people who are in sensitive situations. And yeah, I want you to feel seen and know that you're loved, and that you may feel like there's no hope, but there is always.
There is
hope. There's always hope.
Definitely.
That power, that voice that God sent you into the world with, you still got it. Even though you feel like it's gone, even though it might feel buried, it's still there. So we love you, and I'm rooting for you.
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can definitely do it. I tell women all the time, you're not stuck.
You're not
You might feel
stuck.
like you are, but you're not stuck. You truly are the one who has the power. You just don't realize it yet. You just don't realize it yet, but you're not stuck. You do have the power. You do. And once you realize that, you'll realize that big time, that you can make moves, that you're in control, and that you have a voice, and you should speak up.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Wow.
Most definitely.
Well, this has been All Daughters Considered. And we love you. See you next time.
See you next time.
All daughters considered.